You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks for being a part of this bonus edition of Locked On Sooners. We got another great episode with our guy Spencer McLaughlin of Locked On College Football, available for you wherever you download your podcast. We also have our Friday Fan Feels available as well. We had some great reactions and comments when we asked, how are you feeling about the Oklahoma Sooners with about a week out until they start the 2025 regular season? A lot of confidence brewing among Oklahoma Sooners fans with that Illinois State game on the horizon. But let's just talk about what it means for Oklahoma, this 9-game conference schedule. As we discussed, OU Texas, that is top priority. OU Texas, Iron Bowl, the world's greatest outdoor cocktail party. Those three right there, the second Saturday in October between Alabama and Tennessee, the Auburn, Georgia game, those right there are going to be high priority matchups for the SEC schedule makers. In addition to that, for a team like Texas A&M, that's going to be one of those. It's going to be a high priority to keep on the docket. As much as Texas A&M doesn't want the smoke, they don't want anything to do with Texas. It's why they went to the SEC in the first place. It's going to happen. You're going to get that game every year. No ifs, ands, or buts. Enjoy yourself. Just enjoy the Texas A&M rivalry for what it is. It's a great part of that regional sports day. It's going to be a fantastic day. It's why I'm a big advocate for getting Bedlam back on the schedule, because these regional rivalries, they matter to the fabric of college football. So beyond that, for Texas, I mean, you're looking at OU, Texas A&M, Arkansas. Easy breezy. Knock those three out, because Texas and Arkansas, Southwest Conference foes forever and ever and ever. Got to get them back together. Texas and A&M, obvious. OU, Texas, obvious. But for Oklahoma, it gets a little bit more interesting. You can go a whole bunch of different directions with this beyond OU, Texas. And I want to start close. I want to start with the team that is the closest to Norman of any SEC team, and that is the Arkansas Razorbacks. Woo, pigs hooey. Fayetteville, beautiful place. Northwest Arkansas, love that part of the state, that part of the country. Love bumping over from where we live in Eastern Oklahoma to go visit friends, family, just go bum around and hike and bike and all that stuff. Beyond that, creating a little border war with the Arkansas Razorbacks would just be chef's kiss, drama filled, a game that would create so much meaning in the area, in the region, that you might be okay just letting Bedlam slide off into the sunset and not worrying about that one ever again. If you've got another big time regional matchup between Oklahoma and Arkansas, because there's a lot of Arkansas fans in Oklahoma. There's some Oklahoma fans in Arkansas, and that creates a lot of buzz, a lot of heat. It brings something to the table as far as a regional matchup goes, a permanent opponent goes. Another one, Mizzou. I get it. Missouri's not a rival. We're not going to sit here and claim them as a rival in the same sense that we would Texas or Oklahoma State. But it's a game that, again, has some regional significance. When you play a team 90 times, it has some historical significance. When you play a team that many times, it's a game that carries a little bit of weight. You recruit some of the same areas. Both recruit the upper Midwest, the Kansas, the Nebraskas. Both are recruiting those areas. Both are recruiting the state of Arkansas. Both are recruiting the DFW area. It's a game that if you've got the edge in it, it gives you the edge in some recruiting battles as well. So it's intriguing for that. Also, I cannot live in a world in which Missouri thinks that they're better than Oklahoma. So Oklahoma's got to go out there and prove it every time. And they have almost every time. There's only been one time since 1966 is the last time that Oklahoma lost in Norman to Mizzou. And that's the last time Oklahoma lost back-to-back games to Mizzou. So that being said, let's move on. Let's not dump on Mizzou too much, because I know their fans will be in the channel, in the comments section, and I'll have to read all those. So let's just move on. Another one I think that's really interesting and is going to get a lot of play is Texas A&M, the Big 12 connection that Oklahoma and they have. I mean, Oklahoma hung 77 on them. I don't know if they want Oklahoma, and I don't even really know if Oklahoma cares to play Texas A&M. That's one of those that I don't know. It would be cool, but I'm not necessarily itching for them to be a permanent rival. Of all the teams on my list, if I was going to rank them, A&M would be last. Mizzou would be like second to last. Texas obviously first, Arkansas next, and then this next one I think is probably one of the more intriguing options, and that's LSU. And I don't know how they can make this work necessarily, but I think there's a lot to be desired by having Oklahoma and LSU play on the final weekend of the regular season, because it's a game that will have SEC title and college football playoff implications for years to come. The SEC has already valued that matchup by putting it on rivalry weekend, attempting maybe to create some heat and create some buzz between these two teams. And it was a fantastic atmosphere last year in Baton Rouge. The LSU faithful really showed out and made life really difficult for Oklahoma last year. And obviously the LSU Tigers did as well. It was a really good LSU Tigers team. Oklahoma had their moments, had their chances in the first half, and then just kind of got away from them in the second half. LSU coming to Norman this year. It's going to be another big game with big time implications. I could see that becoming Oklahoma's rivalry weekend matchup, because it's going to be a game that has a ton of implications to it and will have a ton of heat. Two very passionate fan bases, two great home environments. Like, that's going to be one of those games that it may not get the primetime window every single time, but a lot of times it's going to get the primetime window, and ESPN and ABC will be able to sell the heck out of that. So I think that one makes a lot of sense. The other one that I would put fourth in my rankings of teams that make the most sense for Oklahoma to play on a regular basis, that's Florida. And I mean, this one is kind of purely selfish. Oklahoma likes to recruit in the state of Florida. If you get down to Gainesville, I don't know why I say Gainesville, get down to Gainesville and you beat them Florida Gators, then that's big time for you on the recruiting trail. Now, that's big time. Like, it allows you to go on a big stage in front of a hostile crowd and prove what you're capable of. You go win that game, and all those Florida recruits, all those IMG Academy guys that you like to bring to Norman so much, they're going to take notice of that. All those coaches, all those private coaches, all those representatives, they'll all take notice of that as well. So from a purely selfish standpoint, I like Florida as an option. Obviously, you got the Bob Stoops connection where he was the defensive coordinator there for Steve Spurrier. Again, it to me, it's one that rings out. And again, two very passionate fan bases that will bring it every single time these two meet up together. You know, you want to talk about teams I'm like least interested in. I don't really care to have a regular series with Kentucky or Tennessee or Vandy. South Carolina, obviously we're going to get that one, but like every single year, it's fine, but it doesn't mean anything. So those are my six. I got six teams that I feel like make the most sense as permanent rivals. And this is how they rank again. That's Texas, number 1, Arkansas, number 2, LSU, number 3, Florida, number 4, Mizzou, number 5, and Texas A&M, number 6. What I think will happen is Texas, Missouri, and maybe LSU or Florida. I don't know that Oklahoma is going to get Arkansas, because I think Arkansas will have Texas, LSU, and Mizzou, because Arkansas and Mizzou have kind of built up a little bit of a thing going here over the last decade. So I could see those three being Arkansas's permanent rivals, whereas with Mizzou, it's a lot harder to place them aside from their matchup with Arkansas. So likely they'll end up with Oklahoma, and then obviously it gives them a blue blood that comes to town every other year. And then Arkansas, a regional matchup. And then you could go any number of directions, like Kentucky. maybe that's the most proximity for Mizzou, but they're just kind of a weird team, kind of out of place. Like maybe need to go to the Big Ten, and then we can bring Oklahoma State into the SEC. I don't know, just spitballing here. So to me, and then LSU is kind of a team that is a little bit tricky to place as well. Arkansas and Texas A&M make a lot of sense for them, but then what do you do after that? Like Alabama's going to have Auburn, Tennessee on theirs as well, and maybe like a Vandy. So again, it gets a little bit complicated to figure out who the permanent rivals are going to be, but what we can say is it's going to be a lot of fun, man. While I can understand, and while I was kind of okay with them staying at 8 games, the 9 games is going to be more fun. It's going to create more memorable matchups throughout the season and create a tighter SEC title race. You have to win a 9th game to go make it to the SEC title game. Like that's going to be a little bit more challenging for these teams. As we saw last year, parity has hit the sport, and it's especially hit the SEC where the talent gap has closed significantly. And that's going to do it for this bonus edition of Locked On Sooners. Thanks so much for tuning in, being a part of the show. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on every podcast platform and on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to let you know when new episodes drop. Follow my buddy Jay at Unfair Sports. Go check out his channel, Unfair Sports, over on YouTube. You can follow me at John9Williams and read my work covering the Sooners over at SoonersWire.com. The show is at Locked On Sooners on all of your favorite social media platforms. But until next time, for my buddy Jay Smith, I'm John Williams. Boomer Sooner.